Hi, I'm Michael Wargo, team pilot with Hobbyking, and today we are going to do the Before You Fly It series, the Pilot's Perspective series on the Tundra. Let me repeat what this is about, and this is about, we are trying to put together a series of videos that shows you absolutely everything you need to know before you fly this plane. We want your experience to be near perfect, and in order to do that, I thought that it would be a great idea for me to fly the airplane, test it, fly it in every part of the envelope. I'll test it doing all the crazy stuff that I do. I'll show you its aerobatic capabilities. I will show you what to look for before takeoff and landing. But the bottom line is this video is designed to make sure that the very first time that you put the plane in your hands and you're getting ready to take off, you're prepared for everything. At the end, I will be posting all my settings for the aircraft. We're going to discuss what to know before you take off, what to expect on takeoff. Every plane has its little idiosyncrasies, including this one. How to deal with the short takeoff and landing parts of it. I'll show you how to fully take advantage of it, and and when and how to really utilize that properly. And again, I'm going to do some aerobatics with it. I'm going to show you all the crazy stuff it can do, and then I am going to post all of my settings and exactly how I get this plane to do what you see. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, with this aircraft, there's 100 benefits to owning this airplane. One of the things is I use this to train people. It's a high wing trainer, lands very easily. Another huge benefit is we can take off and land just about anywhere. I mean, we can land on the dirt behind this club, we can land in the high grass, we can land and take off just about anywhere. So it's the most versatile aircraft, something you can just fly just about anywhere. We can fly in a very small space. This thing does have floats, so you could fly it off of a lake, of course. But I think one of the biggest things is, it's one of those planes that you can fly in a relaxed fashion. But if you have any desire at all to do some cool stuff and fly some aerobatics, I've shown you enough of me doing cool stuff with it that you can see that you can do stuff that could really impress your friends at the field. And I think overall, this is one airplane that I think everybody should have in their arsenal. I think it's just it's a phenomenal FPV platform. Tom, who's shooting this video, uses his all the time. And when I pulled it out, the first thing he said to me after you're saying we're going to shoot this today, he goes, "Man, I have so much fun with mine," because he does all the knife edge circles and all the cool stuff, and the reaction he gets at the field from doing that. Okay, if you look here, you will see that I am on the second connector there, the second hole. And if we want to get more elevator throw, we just have to move that up to that hole, this hole, which is the next one up. So you just basically unscrew that and pop it into the other hole, and you will get more throws. The reason I put it there is because I wanted to fly it kind of stock. We have similar issues with the ailerons up here. Look where it is. I have it in the far end. If you want more, all you've got to do is move it in a little bit. But remember to change all of your endpoint adjustments, because they are going to change. Same thing with the rudder. Same thing with the rudder. I am on the second one, but we can get more rudder if I switch to the third. And honestly, when I'm done with this video and I just put this into my personal collection, I am going to max out the throws on everything, because I can always cut back, but if I need a little more, my only option is to do it mechanically. All right, the first thing that we're going to deal with, obviously, is maiden flight. And along with the maiden flight, we are going to give you an idea of what I try to make sure I do before the maiden flight. Obviously, all the surfaces need to be level. All the surfaces need to be just zeroed out. This is all done in setup. It must, if everything isn't level, you're obviously asking for some trouble when you take off for the first time. This seems pretty obvious, but I've definitely seen it happen. We're going to check to make sure all the surfaces are moving in the right direction. I have most definitely seen that accident happen more than a few times. So at this point, all the surfaces are together. Now, one of the things that I really want to focus on with a tail dragger, one of the things I really need to focus on is as soon as we get started, okay, you can see this thing has very large wheels. And what's going to happen, as soon as I hit the throttle, it's going to want to list to the left. If I accelerate really fast, it'll turn hard. And that is the torque of the motor just turning, it's very common. And the solution is a couple of real easy safeguards that I'm going to show you once I take off. And what they are is I'm going to put in a little left rudder. And the other thing is where most people screw up or they miss, is once you get the plane moving forward even a little bit, you have to commit. You have to hit a fair amount of throttle to make sure that plane is going forward. If it does, it stays level. The tail, sits behind it. The prop wash is responsible for going over the tail and keeping the tail straight. It will stay straight. You just can't be tentative. And as soon as you take the throttle off, it will turn again. So again, some people find that such a pain in the butt. It happens all the time. It happens with every tail dragger. So we just need to know how to manage it. And once you do, we'll have no problem. One of the biggest problems with doing that particular thing and having the thing turn to the left, depending on the club you're at. Like in this club, if I have to go right to left, and all of a sudden it lists towards the pits, it's a problem. You can crash, you can hit somebody. There's a lot of issues. So this is something you definitely need to work on and make sure you've got going. Now, this is going to be a maiden flight, so what we're going to do is we are going to teach you how to maiden it, which is to take it easy. Let the plane lift off itself, keep it on the ground, make sure you have enough throttle. The only thing that could really screw you up is too little throttle. So we want to make sure you have enough throttle to get the thing off the ground. Do not pull back on the elevator. This aircraft will rise. It's a high wing, it's going to go up. So let's take it out and let's try our first flight. All right, so we've got it on the ground, and again, the first thing is to prepare for it to potentially turn a little left. I've got it on the right side of the runway. So again, the key to keeping this aircraft straight and before we lift off is only two things. Number one, keep it on the ground as long as possible. Number two, commit to the throttle. Don't start it and stop it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of right rudder because that's a really nice way to start it off, just to make sure the plane doesn't want to, again, list to the left. So here we're just going to commit to the throttle. Nice and straight. Up we go. Now I've got a pretty significant trim issue here. Hold on. Okay. All right, so right now, because we're working with the trim and trying to make sure the plane flies straight and tracks straight, we're just going to make some nice, very comfortable circles and watch the aircraft. Normally this plane, when you hit full throttle, will just rise a little bit. And there is a little mix in here from the previous one that is mixing a little down elevator with the throttle. So we're gonna test the throws. Obviously it's got a lot of aileron. My one big complaint with the high wings, and I've definitely done plenty of reviews and stuff like that for this type, but the Tundra is so good this way, is it's got a really nice roll rate. I mean, this is a pretty fast roll rate for a high wing. Now the next big deal is I'm going to check the CG. CG's pretty close. Probably should come back a little bit. And one thing I forgot to mention in the setup before you take off is to make sure you put the CG right on where the manual says. Very, very nice. A couple of the nice benefits of this plane is how good it is with landing on, you know, grass and stuff like that. It'll take off and land on just about anything. Now on this first landing, you can land with or without flaps. My suggestion is to first test the flaps. Now I have mixes in them already because I already know the plane's tendencies. So what I'm going to do is come across the runway. I'm going to put first flaps. And as you can see, it's staying pretty level, and that's because of the mixes I already have in it. And I'm going to share those with you. Now I'm going to go to full flaps, and you see it ballooning? That's exactly what it's supposed to do. But when I drop the throttle, the nose is staying pretty level. So my suggestion to you is to land with takeoff flaps for the first time. There is absolutely no wind today, so I am going to make sure, in order to keep the plane from bouncing around and things like that after landing, I'm going to land in the grass because of the big wheels, and I'm going to land with only first flaps. Okay, I want to show you and show off the STOL capabilities of this plane. One of the big things about the Tundra is it is an STOL plane, and that means you can fly this goofy thing just about anywhere. It's got such a short takeoff. Same thing with the landing. I mean, you can land it in a very small space because the thing just slows down. It slows down to a crawl. So we're going to go straight up almost immediately. This thing probably, especially there's a little wind in the face, it will be off the ground and flying in probably 12 inches or less. In order to do it, elevator up, a quick run up of the motor as soon as it looks like it's even going to start to move. We hit full throttle and up in seconds.
Minus 60 minutes, flaps off.
And again, from a standpoint of doing aerobatics and showing off and fun stuff, that STOL stuff is kind of cool. I loved how it looked when it hit the top and just stabilized. Looked awesome. But again, of course, one of the things we love about this plane, that I love about it, is, you know, the aerobatic capabilities. You know, being able to take an aircraft like this and, you know, again, to be able to do a nice slow 4-point roll is just crazy, and it's so good. You know, all these maneuvers like, you know, the knife edge loops and stuff like that, absolutely fantastic. And for a plane like this to be able to hold knife edge so nice down the runway, super cool, as far as I'm concerned. If I throw the sticks to the corners, it'll kind of sort of lump shavak a little bit. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is in order to really maximize its potential this way, it's not going to be that much different, but you are going to want to move the control horns, the push rod to the closest in control horn. And that, of course, will make the plane be a little more lively, a little more vertical. See that? Because we have a little more elevator. So again, if you're going to fly in the aerobatics, you want to do some fun stuff, my contention is you should probably max out the throws. This plane is plenty of fun without it, but I do think it's a good idea. The little extra rudder is very helpful, actually, for holding knife edge. Anyway, if you want to try and do rolling circles where the plane keeps rolling, you got to have some speed. Make sure you add the rudder, but it'll do it. You just gotta keep control, which I don't have clearly. Well, once it goes across wind,
yeah, you lose all that.
Well, I do have this doing rolling Harriers in other videos, so I'm gonna just come down. It's just crazy to do with a high wing trainer, but this thing, I did a little mixing, but it just flies beautifully. I gotta tell you, this plane really surprises me every time I fly it. Nice and straight, it likes to stay. Do a nice slow, long slow roll. That's really just something you'll never see with a plane of this type. It stayed nice and straight down the runway. Such fun to fly slow. Another thing I'm going to show you here is a short landing type of thing, which you can really spot land this thing if you are any good at it. Okay, I've got full flaps. This is going to land very short. You need to be in high grass, of course, but here's the deal. It's going to want to bounce back up. It's going to want to fly, even at a very slow speed, but watch how absolutely slow we can land it. I mean, to me, that's just incredible to be able to land in such a small space. I'm going to go take off and land in some weird spots here just to show you the potential of being able to fly this anywhere. Little exercises to demonstrate, you know, how to take off, land in anything. I mean, look, this grass is this high, very bumpy. We got the big tires, everything else. Watch how easy. Nothing to it. Now, I'm not, you saw a moment ago where I landed with full flaps, and you could clearly see that it could land anywhere because it almost stopped. But let's say you don't want to do that super slow landing. We can land perfectly normal in a really bad spot with, even coming down with a little bit of speed, just like I'm doing here. We can land in somewhat high grass. Talk about being able to take off and land in a small space. That's a 5-foot table, and we're going to take off from there. I'm going to try and land there too, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to give it a shot. No problem off the table. My battery's a little low.
Landing flaps.
So we're going to full flaps. Believe it or not, I've done this kind of thing before, so I'm not sure if I can do it right now. I blew it. Maybe I need to stand a little further away so I have a better perspective. In fact, I'll stand on this side of it too. So I'm going to fly like this. Well, I'm getting much closer. Oh, that was close. It's still coming in pretty hot, dude. Hobbyking. Today we're going to give you a little primer on how to fly off of the water. Things you need to know when you're taking off, things you need to know when you are landing. And just some basics to make sure when you do try these planes on floats, your experience is just the way it's supposed to be. This is the Tundra. We're going to fly it off the water, and we're going to show you how the little difference in trim might be. Remember, the plane is flying with something below it that is really going to weigh it down, and it's a little heavier. So what's going to happen is the plane is going to want to stay level a little bit more, which in a lot of ways is a good thing, especially when you're first testing it. But if you want to do any aerobatics or something, it's going to be a little weird throwing around these floats. The other thing before taking off that you need to understand is breaking the surface tension is not easy so the plane can go up. You are going to need the flaps to help you off the water. It's not impossible without them. I've tried it with first level of flaps and it's come up, but when it breaks the surface, it'll want to pop up real quickly, and you're going to need a bunch of elevator to get it off the lake. If you take off with full flaps, the flaps will just pull it off the water, so it's a little bit better. So I'm going to show you how that works, and then we're going to show you how to land it. We are going to land. We're going to land with only half flaps, and I'll tell you why. The reason we're going to land with our first level of flaps is because I really believe a long, smooth landing is really nice looking. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get it into the water. Check all the surfaces, everything's working. We are going to take off right to left today, so let's line up with the right side. And I'll try and take off relatively close. Unfortunately, we're going to have to land a little further away. So we're going to full flaps. Full throttle, you need speed to get this thing off the ground. And there it goes. Now quickly get those flaps off because the plane will definitely fly funny with that. We're going to adjust the trim a little bit. It was a little tail heavy. There we go. All right, plane is flying just fine. Using all the other trim settings I had from before. Let's come down towards the water. Let's just get a look at the aircraft. Now, when you do it, you need to check the CG, you need to check everything to make sure you know where it is. So we're going to roll it over to 45. And as you can see, it's just mildly nose heavy, which is just fine. And again, check the ailerons, see how they work. Let's just roll it. The roll rate is absolutely way faster than I thought it would be, that's for sure. I have flown this off the water before, so I knew it was going to be fast. Still adjusting the trim a little bit. Now this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see, because I like aerobatics and they're kind of fun on the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across the lake and we're going to try and do like a point roll, see how it holds on its first point. Second, a little different, but remarkably good in my opinion. This plane will loop really nicely. You know, a nice big loop always looks really nice. So as you can see, it's somewhat aerobatic. The plane is a lot of fun to fly. I personally think simply flying off the water and landing on the water is the fun part. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and set this thing up for landing now. Or maybe I should try and just do a little knife edge circle. All right, let's see what we got here. Pretty amazing it'll do this stuff. You know, with floats attached. It's a little crazy. Anyway, so now we're going to set up for landing. And we're going to go to first flaps.
Takeoff flaps.
And I'm kind of landing with the wind, just because I want to land it a little closer, but we're going to get down, hold the nose up, hold it off, and it lands. So we're going to try that again just to show you how it works, because I've done better. Let's see if we can make it a little longer and smoother. That is the flaps taking it up so fast. A long takeoff looks pretty nice too, but you got to be careful. So now, the approach has to be lower. That's the big deal. That's how to keep that nice, really pretty approach, is make sure it's a little lower. And it's down. I don't know if I need to give you this tip or not, but if I were you, I'd always make sure I have a little extra battery, because not being able to taxi this back to the shoreline would be a problem. Now, like across the way, there's a dock over there. I decided to do it here just because it's, you know, most of you aren't going to have a nice, pretty dock to fly off of or anything like that. This is a club that actually, you know, has a place for boats and seaplanes. But anyway, pretty awesome. I think the plane is really surprisingly aerobatic, considering that, you know, it's dangling these floats below it. But hope you enjoy it. All right. You know, many of you, you know, if you're going to fly off of a lake, flying off the water for the first time is a little nerve-wracking. This plane will take off and land on the grass. All you have to do is, I bent the rudder out of the way because I didn't want to take it off. But you should just remove the rudder because it's not going to really have any effect. It's going to drag it. So all we have to keep in mind if we're going to do this for the first time is I would recommend taking it off with full flaps, only so you just don't, you know, do any damage to the actual floats. So anyway, here's what it looks like. And if you want to take it off for the first time and you're more comfortable flying at your field, do it that way, and then you'll be ready for the water. But watch. Goes right up. It wants to list forward, obviously. And then when we're going to land, we're going to kind of try to do the same thing. We're going to try and land it very slow and just let it flop down on the floats. Full flaps. Let it come in, but it won't do the bounce like it does with the wheels. Easy peasy. Don't know why that happened. Spun out. Here we go. I think that's the rudder catching. All right. I'm going to try taking off with full flaps here, see what happens. There you go.
Take off flaps off.
A couple things that again that are important is that, you know, as you're landing this aircraft, it's not a problem to land it slow. It lands beautifully. You simply need to make sure you're on a little bit of throttle to make sure it settles in the way you want. The only tendency now I see for an advanced pilot is when I'm flying it inverted, it is definitely, even when I brought the CG back, you know, the nose wanted to porpoise a little bit. You know, having to hold a lot of elevator, obviously I can keep it, but it was, you know, it was a little more dicey than I would really like it to be. I'd like it to be able to just sit and hold. So it required a little extra attention. Make sure if you're going to try it, you do it a few times until you settle in exactly the way you want it. I also flew it on as little as 3,300 milliamps, a little less flight time. But if you are going to try and do really cool stuff with it, the knife edge stuff and all the low inverted stuff or anything like that, flying it light isn't a bad idea. You're just going to lose a little flight time. The manual says 4,000 to 6,200. If I were you, I would not fly it on the heavy end of the spectrum. I don't see any real benefit to it. The plane is not going to fly like it did for me. I can guarantee you at 6,500. 4,000 I think is the sweet spot. From now on, when I fly it, I'm going to fly it at 4,000. And maybe if I'm doing a show or anything like that and I want it to look especially good on knife edge or some of the other stuff, I will fly it on 3,300. Okay, on that flight you can see that I had trouble with the plane rolling out on knife edge going right to left, and it was also pulling towards the canopy a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mixing, rudder, aileron, elevator, and as you can see there's already a ton on this, 27 and 33% on the ailerons. So basically what's going to happen now is I'm going to deflect the right rudder and I'm going to be moving left aileron. So what I need is this aileron to move a little further. So as I get on that right aileron, right now it's at 33%. I'm going to move it. I want to make sure I'm moving it in the right direction. I am. So I'm going to go from 33 to, let's say, 36%, which is a heck of a lot, but that's what we're going to do. And hopefully it'll minus 36%. In fact, I'm going to go to minus 38 to see if I can manage it. The other side is just fine. The rudder elevator on the right side, right now I have 1.5, and it's definitely just deflecting down to take it towards the gear. So I'm going to make sure that's going in the right direction. Yes, it is. So I'm going to take it to, let's say 3%. No, let's go a little further. I'm going to go to 5%. It might be a bit much. The other side was pulling quite hard. Right now it's at 1.5. I think I'm going to take it to about minus, hold on. Oh wait, that's going in the wrong direction. Yeah. There's 1.5. I'm going to take it to about 4.5 maybe. Let's go to 5, see where we're at there. Now so right now we're going to take it back out and we're going to try our settings and make sure that this plane is flying the way we want it to. I've taken the rudder elevator mix to 7.5%, and I think that's going to be the magic number. My final rates on mixing was the rudder aileron, quite a lot, 27% and 38%. Rudder elevator is 7.5% and 7.5%. For the Tundra, my final rates are 100% and 60% expo on the ailerons high rates.
Flight mode 2.
Mid rates, I have 100% and 50%.
Flight mode
Low rates, 66% and 25%. For the elevator, we have 100%, 60%,
Flight mode 2.
76%, 40% expo. And low rates, we've got 50% and 30%. Finally, for the rudder, we have 100% and 61%,
Flight mode
50%,
2.
25%,
Flight mode
and
1.
low rates are 43% and 25%.
3 minutes.
My final settings for the flap elevator mix. I mean, these are obviously the percentages of what my servo travel is, but you need to just adjust them by the manual. But my elevator, my down elevator mixes is at 8% on first level flaps and 10% on full flaps.